Hello, this is Roger Shouse, and this is Jumpstart Rewind. This is part of our Heaven Bound podcast family. Jumpstart number 2970, first written November 24th, 2021. Psalms 138, verse 1. I will give you thanks with all my heart. I will sing praises to you before the gods. This is the season of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a day set aside to be thankful. For the disciple, this is just one day of a whole year of thankful days. The child of God realizes that he is blessed, loved, and saved by the amazing grace of Jesus. Our psalm today, written by David, reminds us of the many ways to be thankful. David didn't have a special Thursday in November that made him think this way. This was his way of life, and it ought to be the way of life for us as well. First thing we've noticed in this section here is that the chapter begins, as our verse states, I will give you thanks with all my heart. To be thankful, one recognizes the generosity of someone else. He not only appreciates it, but he expresses that. He says it. He says, thank you. Thank you with all my heart. Thank you with all that I have and all that I am. Secondly, the thankful heart naturally leads to praising. Within our verse, we find, I will sing praises to you. I sing. I sing because I am thankful. We find here a cheerful heart, a joyous heart, a heart that is content, a heart that's not looking at what others have or complaining or is bitter or jealous. This heart is full of joy. It is thankful heart. Maybe we would hear so much less complaining these days if folks were simply thankful more than what they are. Thirdly, David was thankful, as the next verse says, for God's loving kindness and truth. It is the truth that shows us Jesus. It is that truth that pulled us out of the pit of darkness and despair. Truth was the key that opened the prison door. The truth led to salvation. The truth led to righteous living and godly choices. Thankful for truth. Thankful for those who preach that truth. Thankful for those who are not ashamed of the truth. Thankful for those who defend the truth. Thankful for being among those who walk in the truth. Without the truth, we are blinded by the darkness of error. Truth is a light, and truth shines forth, not only from God, but deep within our hearts. Fourth, David said, on the day I called, you answered me. Answered prayers. Thankful that God hears us. Thankful even more so that God cares enough to listen to us. Thankful that God doesn't think, not him again, or what does he want now? Not God. He's not like that. How many times have you prayed to God? How many times has the God forgiven you? How many times have you needed God's help? For most of us, it's too many times to count. You answered me is what David said. He remembered. He knew. He was thankful that the God of heaven was there for him time and time again, and God had answered his prayers. Fifth, though I walk in the midst of trouble, you will revive me. These words are sure and fitting for us today. Trouble's everywhere. We walk in the midst of trouble, yet for David, the Lord kept him safe. The Lord was there for him. The Lord kept trouble away. Think about the times we see this in David's life. As a shepherd, there was the lion and the bear that he encountered. Then there was a giant. Then there was King Saul. Then there was the Philistines. Later in life, there was his own son Absalom. Trouble was always swirling around David, but somehow, and we know how, God kept him safe. How about your life? Trouble at work? Trouble at home? Trouble in the neighborhood? Trouble within your heart? God has kept you going. God has been there for you. God will keep you going. If it's been a while since you looked at Psalms 138, I'd encourage you to take a time just to read the chapter. David realized that God was in his life. God had touched his life. And for that, David was thankful. May we become the same, not just today, not just on Thanksgiving Day, but all the days of our life. Thank you so much for listening.